Hello?
What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man.
Yes,
Hold on.
sir.
Let me get my background in here.
Yeah, get your background in there. We don't want no busted, broke ass Oakland type looking shit.
Nah. Let's see. I think I did it right. Let me start my video. All right,
Here we
cool.
go. Hey, look, it's the Golden Gate Bridge. What's going on, brother?
Yeah. Nothing much, man. Nothing much.
Yes, sir, man. All right, welcome to the Poem Podcast. It is my co-host Hashim with your host Asif Ali, and we're here to talk about NFL action and previewing the playoffs for the wild card. So, Hashim, man, how was your New Year's?
Hey, I'd say New Year's was good, man. It's just you just got to count your blessings, man, and move forward. So I'd have to say, I'm glad 2020 is over. A lot of good things, happened to me personally in 2020, but at the same time, as far as the climate goes with the world and all that, now I think everybody needs a new 365. So
I agree, man. New 365 is key for sure. Like even for me, great things happened, but I agree with you. So yeah. Let's start from the top actually. Okay, so Derrick Henry, we were talking about this yesterday, and obviously, so let's start from the top. Okay, so I'm just gonna introduce this topic, and then you can go. Derrick Henry breaks the 2,000 yard rushing mark yesterday. Brandon Marshall's on First Things First today, and he's basically saying that, and I agree with this, and you're obviously gonna chime in very soon, that the MVP award is so quarterback centric. It's so quarterback centric. The last player to ever win the MVP wasn't a quarterback, was Adrian Peterson back in 2012. Before that, I believe maybe Marshall Faulk for like years, which was back in 2000 or whenever that was, right?
Yeah. I'm all thinking too. I'm like, I think that was 2000. I want to say 2003.
Yeah.
2003 or 2002.
Yeah.
Because I believe 2002, because 2003 was co-MVPs with Peyton Manning and Steve McNair. If I'm
right.
I say correct me if I'm wrong, people. So
pretty much. And I mean, if we talk about it, if we look at it, like the thing is, like, and I'm looking at this, Derrick Henry had 250 yards. Let me read the stat line. Hold up. I'm just looking at this right now. So the Titans won on that crazy field goal last minute. Tannehill completes that pass to Brown, and Brown also had a monster game. He was 10 receptions, 151 yards, 15.1 yards per reception, 1 TD. Yeah, so Derrick Henry had 34 carries, 250 yards, 7.4 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I would say, he's built different.
He's built different.
Literally. He's probably going to go down as one of the most physically gifted running backs we've ever seen, and honestly, me personally, I think that's Adrian Peterson holding that right now.
I agree.
Even when you combine, physical attributes along with the all-time production, because we could go down the list and say that this person was more physically gifted than that person, but if the production doesn't show it, then I'm not really going to put you in there, because Bo Jackson would definitely have that honorable mention. So for those who are ready to have your pitchforks ready, just settle down. Yeah. Bo Jackson wasn't an all-time great when it came to production.
Right.
Adrian Peterson is.
Right.
And Derrick Henry is on that path. Actually, he's there. So, he's 27 years old. We all know that the lifespan of a running back isn't that long in the NFL. So when you're thinking about greatness at that position, were you ever the top 3 in that conversation? And Derrick Henry, for the last, I want to say 2 to 3 years, has been in that, at least the top 5. In the last 2 years, he's bar none number 1, period. So 2,000 yards isn't easy, as we know that he's the ace. So,
and let's actually talk about what we talked about in your stats yesterday when you posted about it. Because remember, back in 2009, you mentioned this yesterday. The Titans are the only franchise, I believe, right, to have 2,000 yard rushers.
Yep.
And the last time they did that was actually our season at this school right here.
Yeah.
And and I remember doing right before when we were strapped up and you're about to go do blocking drills, you're like, "Hey, bro, I told you Andre Johnson's the best wide out in the league, right?" And then you all said in the same breath, and you're like, you know what? But I hope the Titans fail because I fucking hate the Titans. And then but obviously then they made the switch next week to Vince Young, and I mean,
Yeah, but
yeah.
So, yeah, for anyone who saw that, reason being was it was like, yeah, they went 13-3 the year before. I felt like Vince Young could have, helped that team at the time. Kerry Collins did his thing, but it was like he was so limited. So
Right.
I'm just thinking like, all right, well, they're losing and Chris Johnson's, running his heart out every game. And you're telling me that you can only be 1-4 at this time or 1-5, some shit like that.
Yeah.
Once they got, no, it was 1-6. And then Vince Young comes in and they were like 8-2 or something like that, or 8-1.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then he got his 2000. Vince Young looked like a viable starter again. So it was like, see, but yeah, at that time it was fucking tight.
Yeah, exactly. And CJ2K, Chris Johnson, kind of rushing for 2,000 yards and eclipsing that. That season was just so memorable. It's just like, they made a playoff push, and kind of Brandon Marshall's point. I mean, obviously Peyton Manning won the MVP that year. But preferential treatment goes to the QB, and I'm also gonna now take this to another topic, because obviously Derrick Henry, like you said, and I mean, you're a Cowboys fan, like we discussed last time. Cowboys almost made the playoffs, but they lost. They lost yesterday, so they were eliminated. And kind of what you mentioned about Derrick Henry being top 2 or 3 back for the past top 5 back for the past 2 or 3 years. Another man in that conversation is your own Ezekiel Elliott, right? So for the past couple of years, I mean, we've seen kind of a drop off in production, right? I'm thinking Derrick Henry basically took Zeke's place as being the number 1 back in the league, like all around back.
As far as like the best pure runner in the league, yes, he did.
Yes.
And that's what I mean. It happens.
Right.
It's just some people peak at the right time, some people decline early.
Right.
And then when we talk about MVPs, especially this season, if there was any running back that I was going to give it to, not named Derrick Henry, would be like Dalvin Cook or Alvin Kamara for sure.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara actually, let's just say if he rushed for like 1,000 and, did the Christian McCaffrey 1,000, I think I would have gave it to him. But that's just a different story. I think it's just, I think it's always hard to double the, double 1,000 yards, whether it's receiving or rushing.
Right.
So I mean, the biggest factor is Derrick Henry is the sole reason why the Tennessee Titans are in their position today.
Correct.
And that's what an MVP is to me. And I feel like what sports needs to do is kind of rename that reward. If we're talking about the most outstanding player, okay, let's go for this. But we're talking about valuable. It's like quarterbacks are valuable. Don't get me wrong, but it's still the ultimate team game. We can't preach about football being the ultimate team sport, but we give one person to blame and the credit all the time. So
too much preferential treatment goes to the QB. And I mean, and to your point, I agree with you. I think Derrick Henry is the best pure runner, best downhill runner in the NFL by far. There's no one else you're gonna want to try. Yeah. You'd want to tackle. You would not want to tackle Derrick Henry downhill. Go.
I'm not gonna say by far.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say by far because Nick Chubb is right there.
Forgot about Nick Chubb. Yep.
Derrick Henry's a 6'2", 6'3", steamrolling train. But Nick Chubb is a fast-ass bowling ball coming right at you, and he'll bowl you over. So I won't just say Derrick Henry is like by far the best downhill runner, but he is the best downhill runner that we have right now.
Right. So. And Nick Chubb, obviously yesterday, he also hit a milestone. He eclipsed 1,000 yards for back-to-back seasons. And it was out for the majority for like half. I'm not sure if it was half the year how many games he missed.
It was 4 games.
Yeah, 4 games. I mean, that's pretty significant. That's a quarter of the season, So, I mean, for him to also hit that milestone is pretty significant, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, that means he's averaging about 90 yards a game. So, which would have put him at 1,500, 1,400 again, like he was last year. So, I mean, Nick Chubb, that's a man running the football.
Man, we have grown-ass men running the football. It's crazy we're talking about this. They're like, oh, it's a pass-happy league, which it is. But you still have grown-ass running backs doing their thing and helping their teams win.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the Cleveland Browns, you look at the Tennessee Titans, Tannehill is pretty good as a QB, but
I think he's good.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield is pretty much just like a mid-card, subpar, in my opinion, kind of like Jimmy G kind of QB. He's not you. He is what he is. You're not gonna expect him to kind of become a Pro Bowl. His numbers were not impressive at all this year, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like
no,
maybe
no.
3,500 throwing, passing yards, 28 TDs, maybe. So it's like he's basically kind of like a game manager type QB. So you rely
He's
heavily
an efficient game manager,
efficient game manager. So Kevin
Yeah.
Stefanski leveraged the obviously the defense of the Browns, the front four with Myles Garrett, and obviously the secondary, and then obviously the run game with Nick Chubb, right? Just running it down opponents' throats. And yesterday we kind of proved.
And Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, and Kareem Hunt, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a two-headed monster. So, those are the types of things that kind of count. I mean, because when you're trying to win games, people always think, oh, it's a pass happy league, which it is. I think you do need Pro Bowl QB to win a Super Bowl.
Absolutely. I believe that.
Yeah, but you can still win games in other ways, meaning running. Let's take the Ravens for example. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens yesterday, almost went off for 500 rushing yards, right? And I mean, that was just a clinic against the Bengals.
I've never I think before even the Ravens even had Lamar Jackson. I think the last team we ever seen run for 300 yards in a game or plus, just something crazy like that. I think was the New York Giants back in the day with Brandon Jacobs, Derek Ward, and Ahmad Bradshaw. There you go.
Yep, Ahmad Bradshaw.
Right. And then Tennessee Titans, once again, Chris Johnson, Lindell White, and then I think, I'm pretty sure Atlanta had to have done that before, with Michael Vick, Warwick Dunn, and TJ Duckett. But
yeah,
I mean, but the way that the Ravens do it, you could tell this is what they do, and they're really good at it, and they're going to keep doing it. And and then another thing about quarterbacks nowadays, it's so many teams have different styles of QB. So it's not, so you don't always want to look at the numbers raw and be like, hey, this guy's good, this guy's not.
Yeah.
I think watching football is more important than ever when you're trying to do these type of shows that, that you're doing now, and making sure you trust your eyes or, maybe you listen to another ear, here and there, and then you can make your own decision. So, yeah.
And you know me, all I do is watch football as much as I can. You see everyone who listens, either if you follow me on social media, you see what I post because I mean, like Coach, to your point, the eye test never lies, right? You can look at the stats, the stat sheet. Yeah, I will admit there's some games I wasn't able to watch yesterday. I wasn't able to completely watch the Niners game, but I followed it, and I love the fact that Russell Wilson was able to come back and win that game because I love that we have a top 12 draft pick. It could have been we could have fallen out of the top 20. How we won that game. So that's excellent. The good thing is now let's talk about kind of the two teams we were just referencing to start off the show. The Titans and the Ravens are now going to play in the wild card. So I mean that to me is going to be huge because if you think about it, Tennessee, they're pretty much it's a rematch of last year when Tennessee just came in and just ran it down Baltimore's throat. They couldn't do anything.
Beat the shit out of everybody.
Beat the shit out of except when they got to play Kansas City. Who ended up beating up everyone. Beat the shit out of everybody. So kind of the Titans and I was watching Shannon Sharp today and he was talking about kind of the Ravens rushing attack and he just thinks that's too much. It's too much for the Titans to maintain or kind of contain. So he's speaking the Ravens. I'm not sure, but I mean, kind of, what do you think?
Well, see, the thing about the Tennessee Titans is they're good on offense, but they suck on defense. Period. Right. They're, it's like they have holes on defense to where they could get cut up in the air. They're I want to say they're in the bottom half when it comes to total defense. So they can't rush the passer. We know that they can't stop the pass.
Right.
Yeah, you could run on them. You're not. We're not talking about all level bad, but their defense is not as stout as it was last year.
Right.
And I think that's what's going to hurt them the most. So unless they come out and say, "Hey, you know what? It worked last week. F it. We're going to give Derrick Henry those carries again," which they should. That's their best shot to control the clock, keep Lamar Jackson on the sideline, and beat the Ravens at their own game to where the Ravens have to play catch up, which which has been the narrative all year, questioning, can they do that? Right. And we've yet to see it on a consistent level. So, it's going to be interesting. And
Definitely.
I think,
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, me personally, I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to win. So
yeah, I mean, and now that I'm thinking about it, I wasn't really thinking about the defensive issues of the Titans. And obviously, the game that I watched that finale. I posted that field goal, the single doink.
right.
I mean that that to me is pretty telling because that game went down the wire, and they and the Texans. I mean, to the Texans' credit, they played hard. You know what I mean? Divisional games are always tough. It doesn't matter what your record is. Divisional games are always tough.
Exactly.
But and you got Deshaun Watson, you got JJ Watt, you got all time great. No, I mean great players. You have great players.
No, it's all time. JJ Watt's an all time player.
Yeah, JJ Watt all time. Yeah, Deshaun not so much yet. We're still waiting on that. So I mean, JJ did for sure. But kind of, to that point, like, I mean, they should have blown them out of the water. They couldn't do it.
Yeah. And there's a few other games this year where you're like, come on, Tennessee, let's make a stop. Let's make a stop. And they couldn't make the stop. And it wasn't about their offense not putting up the numbers. It was more about their defense stopping the nosebleed,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I agree with you. I think, I'm probably gonna side with you and Chan Sharp. Ravens or Titans in a close one. I'm gonna go with that. So now we're gonna.
What's your score though? What's your score?
No. I'm not giving you my score. You tell me your score first.
24-20.
24-20. That sounds breezable. I'll go 27-21. 27-21.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Sizable.
Yeah. So, no, that's good.
Yeah. It could be a blowout. It could be. It has potential to be.
We'll see.
We'll see. Greg Roman. All right. So let's move right down the list. Chargers blew out the Chiefs with their backups. That's not even what we're talking about. So that's that. Actually, that is what we're talking about because kind of the last topic of the MVP discussion, right? Mm-hmm. So the MVP is so QB centric, offensive rookie of the year, and so the same kind of thing. Justin Herbert is probably going to win it, but Justin Jefferson has broken Randy Moss's single season receiving record as a rookie and the rookie receiving record in the NFL. Like he's broken two records: the franchise record for Minnesota that Randy Moss set back in 1998, and the NFL rookie receiving record. But they're going to probably give it to Justin Herbert because Herbert did in less games. I'm not going to argue that.
Right. But and remember, too, he broke Anquan Bolton's reception.
Anquan Bolton was the one who held the NFL record. Exactly. That's what I'm referencing. So Randy Moss and Anquan Bolton's receiving record were both shattered yesterday by Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
So kind of let me get your thoughts on that because Justin Herbert, I was talking to somebody about this. He's like, he did in less games. So, I mean, it's hard to argue. But Justin Jefferson missed 2 games, right? He missed 2 games, and he still did this. So kind of what's your take on that?
So when we talk about, I believe I posted something about that too, and it was just like, if the league wasn't so QB centric, hey, we all know who the rookie of the year is.
Right.
But to the rookie class this year's credit, it was a thick ass class. Okay. Joe Burrow, if he was healthy for the whole time, I think he would have won it. Just from what he had to deal with and how well he played despite wins and losses. Mm-hmm. I think with Joe Burrow, they probably would have won maybe 2 to 3 more games too. So I don't know. Maybe Cleveland's not in the playoffs. Who knows?
Right.
And then you go to Justin Herbert, like you said. I mean, anytime a first-time quarterback throws for 31 touchdowns, I don't think that's anything to sneeze at.
Right.
Which still sucks when you're like at a receiver position or, a running back or, somebody on the defensive end balling for real. But I mean, if it were me, I'm voting Justin Jefferson. Okay. Like, hey, you know what? We talk about these all-time greats, and who's going to match this, who's going to do that.
Right.
And you just broke Randy Moss's record. Like Moss.
Who is my personal GOAT, in my opinion.
Right.
So
I'm saying no, I get it. And then of course Anquan Bolton, that record. You mean who would have thought that a rookie again would ever get 100 plus catches?
Exactly. I didn't either.
That's insane level of trust that you have with your team.
Right.
That they're like, hey, we're gonna give you. It's like you're the primary target on this one. Oh, hey, you know what? We have Adam Thielen, but we want you to get this catch. Like that's crazy responsibility. And what they say about receiving in the NFL, receiving corners, take the longest to acclimate because it's it's really hard.
Right.
Well, I mean, clearly quarterback is too, but with all these passing camps, I think they're better off than they were 5-10 years ago.
Right.
In receivers, we still have hits or misses.
Bingo.
So a lot of hits and misses.
A lot.
So yeah. So it's just I just think on degree of difficulty, I would just give it to Justin Jefferson, and maybe that's just me being anti-quarterback at this moment, but but I mean, facts are facts. You shattering all-time records. I think you should be rewarded for that, because it's going to be hard for him to even get close to even an MVP award, or he could get all pros, Pro Bowls, all that stuff. But hey, sometimes I think individual seasons need to be recognized. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think to that point, and we can also go trace it back to last year. Josh Jacobs, you'd appreciate this, right? Josh Jacobs of the Raiders. I think I'm not sure if he broke the record for rookie rushing record, but he did. He had a phenomenal rookie year rushing. Yeah, and he was pretty much in the running for rookie of the year, but they gave it to Kyler Murray, which is kind of controversial, right? But Kyler Murray's first overall pick, and it's a QB centric kind of league now. And so
only won 5 games, so it's like it's like I get it. Like there's certain players when you come in, you're like, hey, that's that dude. Kyler Murray, I mean, I wouldn't have called him that dude last year. Right. Josh Jacobs was the reason why the Raiders were relevant for the first 8 to 10 weeks of the season until they imploded like they did this year.
Yeah.
Losing all those games in the end.
Yeah.
And I believe the rookie rushing records, I think, is still held by Eric Dickerson, 1,800 yards or something like that.
Right.
I think Zeke was close. Zeke and Adrian were close.
I thought Adrian Peterson broke it. Okay.
Nah, I was saying he could have if they started him early.
Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, no, that's basically it.
Yeah, I think kind of the QB centric award is that's the issue. The QB bias is going to prevent a lot of great skill position players, receivers, running backs, whoever from actually getting those nods, those acknowledgments. So it kind of sucks. Just not much else to say about that. But
right. Exactly.
So that's cool. All right, now let's go through the actual record. Let's go through. So Washington winning the division, winning your division, beating your boys and beating the Eagles. Alex Smith is my pick for comeback player of the year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that was just phenomenal. I think this whole season's been a phenomenal story. He's the best story of the season in my opinion. And obviously like with that, it's just like it just shows you kind of if you have character and you have testament, like you can come back from a life-threatening leg injury and just fucking just win a fucking playoff, win a division title, and then obviously just carry your team. And Alex Smith to me is like the most mentally toughest quarterback out there in my opinion. So talented, debatable, right? But definitely.
I mean, he's been in the NFL for as long as he has. He's talented.
He's talented, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we can't take that away.
No, we definitely can't. But now he's gonna have to play Tampa Bay in the playoffs in the wild card. So talk to me about kind of what you're thinking and what you're expecting for that game. Who do you pick and why?
This is a potential trap game,
right,
for Tampa,
right?
And what people have to realize, they're 7-9. They are, but they were 6-4 after starting 1-5 because they made that switch.
Exactly.
And what did Tampa Bay struggle with early this year and most of the year when they played against great defensive teams or teams with great pass rushers?
Yes, sir.
They struggled, I'm not saying that, I'm not going for like upset alert or anything. I still think Tampa Bay, passes by, but it's not going to be like, oh, we're going to come in here and, push you guys around because you're 7-9. I think it's going to be more of a harder fought game. I think we're looking at like a low key scoring one, like just a low scoring game. Tom Brady finds a way, and Tampa advances. So I'm going to say that score would be 17-13.
I was gonna say 17-14.
Yeah, 17-13. I just think at this point, what see Washington, I mean, other than Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson, like Antonio Gibson's good, he's talented. I just there's something about their offense. I just don't trust it all the way.
Right.
And I'm not trusting them in the playoffs yet. So, that's why their defense is going to keep them in the game, if anything.
And I think that's a good point, because if you look at kind of last night's game that they played against the Eagles, it was the defense that held them, that kept them in there, and the offense could barely. Alex Smith threw for one or two TDs. I forgot what it was. I don't care.
Yeah,
but they only put 20 points on the board against a depleted Eagles, like secondary and like a whole on squad. I mean, I would expect if you're gonna make a deep playoff run that in the last week of the season against a divisional opponent, and again, like I said, divisional games are tough. Like the Titans were taken to the wire. Eagles kept it was closer to the last last couple minutes. So I mean, it was still close. The final score 2014. The Redskins, the Washington football team, they need to. I want to see them kind of have a Thanksgiving game against your boys last night. I want to see them assert their will. I want to see them go and beat them 41-17 or something remarkable, so that way I have a little more confidence in them heading into the playoffs. Even though they're hosting, the what do you call it? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans, by the way, we were talking about milestones. Mike Evans, 5 straight years or whatever it is. The first receiver. Seven straight. It's 7. It is. You're right. 2013. The only receiver ever to have 1,000-yard seasons every single year in his first 7 seasons. Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, and they have too many other weapons. They have AB. He has 45 catches. Tom Brady got him his little sign bonus because of that. 20.25 million, right? You got Rob, you got Gronk, you got Chris Godwin, and this is just
the riches.
Yeah, there's so many. You got the running game is also looking pretty good too. I mean, I don't even know who the running back is, or is it Shady? It's not Shady.
No, it's not Shady. It's Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones.
So put some respect on Rojo's name, man.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because I don't get me wrong, I wrote him off early this year when they had Leonard Fournette. I was like, oh, Leonard Fournette's about to take this and eat. Yeah. Because I've seen at that point, I saw enough of Ronald Jones. I was like, he's a, he's a physical runner, but he's not, big enough, or he's not, durable enough for a 16-game season. Then lo and behold, this man, clearly was working out in the weight room, and he still kept his speed. Yep. So I'm just like, all right, sometimes you just need some competition just to put you up to the next level. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, congratulations to Ronald Jones, and obviously the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm gonna say Tampa. I don't give a fuck. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hashtag Skip Bayless shout out. I mean, I think, like you said, the offense will be too much. However, I mean, Chase Young and that front four, if Ryan Kerrigan, Chase Young, if that front four can get after Tom Brady, then it's gonna be a long day.
It's gonna be a long day.
Yeah. It's gonna be a very long day. And I mean, like you said, it could be a trap game based on the front four. Chase Young actually is on record this morning saying that Tom Brady, get ready, I'm coming for you. So he's coming in with confidence. Don't sleep on the Washington football team, and I'm excited for that game. That's a game to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And as much as I hated that, Dallas squandered this whole season away, and we got injuries and all that stuff, bad play calls, and bad judgment calls and stuff. It's just that wouldn't have been a good matchup for us,
No.
If we had, and honestly, we have no business being in the big dance at this point in time.
Right.
So, we deserve to lose. As much as Darius Slayton wants to say oh, you played to win the game, Philly, win more games. Then we don't have to wait on anybody else to win or lose. Period. So, congrats to Washington getting their business done. Yeah, I think they actually do have an elite, actual elite unit, which is their pass rushers. So, that's all it takes sometimes.
Literally, that's all it takes. All you need is one. If you look at the Niners last year, how we made the Super Bowl, we had Nick Bosa, D Ford, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, just swarming after the QB.
Elite pass rush. Yep.
Yeah, that's all you need.
One thing, you have a chance.
if you look at the Giants in Super Bowl 42, you look at the Giants in Super Bowl 46. Justin Tuck, Michael Strahan,
And
yeah,
Kiwanuka or somebody like
yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. Matthias Kiwanuka and Osi Umenyiora.
Yep. Damn. I was you think about that, you're like, damn. It's either I'm old, but it's like you're older, but then you're like, damn, that was a nice ass team.
Yeah,
Especially up front.
I mean to the point, because even though I'm a Moss fan, I knew heading into that game, the Patriots O line was so beat up for winning the championships and making those deep runs, and this Giants D line outside of Michael Strahan, they're fresh. I mean, these guys like Justin Tuck, 24 years old, like starting a Super Bowl, like going up against like a 35-year-old whoever. You know what I mean? So
right, exactly.
Yeah. All right, yeah. We're gonna look out for the Washington football team and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now let's talk about your Cowboys, okay? Because obviously you guys had all the hype and all the expectations to win the division this year.
We always do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean,
that's an expectation.
Yeah, it should be an expectation because you guys have the most talented team. You have the most pay. You have the highest payroll out of any team in the NFC East, right?
Yeah.
But Jerry Jones, all your big money guys didn't deliver. None of your big money guys that you paid big money didn't deliver. Zeke didn't deliver. Dak obviously franchise. I mean, fucking what's going on with DeMarcus Lawrence? I mean, I don't know. So talk to me about that. You know what I mean? Like shit.
So this is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Because I know I talked to somebody else within the Dallas fan club, and we, so one thing, we're always looking at the defense and side-eyeing the defense like, oh, y'all supposed to do this.
Right.
But real shit, since Tony Romo's been there, our calling is offense. That's what we wanted. That's what Jerry wanted to do. He wanted to put points on the board. So if we're not scoring, 24 or more points, then we're not getting our job done.
Right.
And clearly, when we've been losing the last 2 years, we're 0-16 when we don't score over 30. That's like that's insane to think about. So if that's the case, then first things we need to do is shore up, reload on the offensive line.
Right.
So then we have, Dak actually having time, to, make, do his reads, make his passes. Right. Zeke having open holes, maybe he might look fresher, but we just have to, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm looking inward, thinking like, okay, maybe I don't need flashy toys on the outside anymore, and I need to do what made us, great.
Right.
I need to build up that offensive line. If I want to pay Dak, what's the number?
Yeah,
I need to figure out what that number is, and then whatever that number is, hopefully he takes it. If he doesn't, you have to have a viable, plan B option. So it's gonna be a different offseason. It's gonna be interesting, man. But I think when it comes to Dallas, overall, I mean, Mike McCarthy, I mean, he's shown certain flashes. There's some gaffes too where I'm like, dude, what the fuck? That's just me being a fan.
Yeah.
But like, you think about the whole grand scheme of things, I think what's gonna have to change is both him and Jerry have to stop giving people favors.
Yeah.
Hire the best people for the job.
Facts.
So Mike Nolan, get him out. Number one. And number two, I would talk to all my highest paid players and be like, look, I know that our brand is Hollywood. Our brand is, you're a celebrity first, football player second, but I want to win championships.
Right.
And we can't do that if, we can't do that if you guys aren't performing. So, hey, you might have to make some trades. So, we'll see. We'll see.
And I think, and just to correct you, you were talking about Tony Romo era, but it's actually the Dak Prescott era over the last 2 years where they're 0-16 if they haven't scored 30 points or more. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was just talking about like the Dallas going as an organization, as an offensive organization.
Right.
So we were, so even when our defense was serviceable or even, high in the rankings, it wasn't, that wasn't like the brand of our team. The brand of our team was always our offense. So
100%, and actually, you mentioned another interesting point, the shiny toys on the outside. one of those shiny toys, which is another big money guy, is Amari Cooper. He only
Yeah.
had one game this year where I think over 100 yards receiving.
Is that right?
I mean, I have to look it up. Let me look it up. His stats for the game, I believe so. Because overall stats for the year, well, he did have over 1,000 yards receiving this year. Look at the
So
game
he
log.
probably had about like one, and probably had like a couple 70, 80 yards and
Yeah.
there. And yeah. I mean,
yeah,
watching him
four.
live, man. I mean, Amari Cooper's he's a lot bigger than you think than you see on TV.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, we have young talent. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
No, and I think us paying the $100 million to him, we had to do it at that time because we didn't want to give up what we gave up just for him to be a Redskin. Like that, no. Not at all. I mean, I know the popular thing is to trade him away, get something back for him at least.
Right.
And then we could build around Gallup and CeeDee Lamb. So it's going to be, so I know it's going to be pretty interesting to see how we even shake up that receiving core, because clearly CeeDee can play ball and Michael Gallup can play too, and I think, it's just like that whole old adage, there's only one ball to go around. So, I mean, what's the point of having 3,000-yard receivers and we're not winning games? So let's see what we could get out of the guy we're paying and pay Gallup and bring maybe another slot in, or, like at least a serviceable tight end and get back to the run game or balanced offense, so to speak. So, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of holes that need to be addressed in Dallas. I mean, there's a lot of dysfunction across the board. I mean, Mike McCarthy, to your point, like you said, the gas was like, what the fuck? It's like when he didn't challenge the call for the catch yesterday, like all you had to do was literally look up at the big screen, that gigantic Dallas, whatever the fuck that thing is, and then just see that the nose of the ball hit the turf when he's trying to process of completing the catch.
I'm surprised I'm even calm talking about this.
Yeah.
Like when I was watching the game, I was like, challenge the freaking play. Come on. Like you saw the ball. And it's like, clearly our defense showed you who they are a billion times this year, that they can't stop anybody. So why put them in that position when we could have just anyway, before I go even crazier, man.
No, go crazy, brother. This is your team. You're a diehard Cowboys fan. Because I mean, we need to talk about this, because this is the second straight year that they've squandered an opportunity to make the playoffs.
I'm pretty sure it. Second straight year.
Yep.
Second straight year. But even like in our lifetimes, or at least as old, for 10 years, I'm pretty sure it's like we're like 3-10 when it comes to do or die games or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's enough's enough. It's like, goddamn, we make it right here at the doorstep, and like Stephen A. says, an accident waiting to fucking happen. And that's what happens. It's like, and it was just like something we could have controlled. Where the coach could have said like, oh, hey, that's not a catch. Like, what the fuck? So
I mean, actually, I'm gonna side a better analyst, someone better than Stephen A., which is the guy on first on first take, but undisputed Shannon Sharp. What he said today, Jerry Jones is too involved. And the reason why Jimmy Johnson got let, because we're talking about our lifetimes when we were little babies, right? When Jimmy Johnson got let go, it was because Jimmy had when Jerry said, I'm going to now control the personnel decisions, Jimmy said no, because it needs to be running through the head coach. It needs to be one voice.
Yeah.
And when you have an owner who's basically saying one thing, a coach who's trying to send another thing, Mike McCarthy, I mean, what was that? The smashing the watermelon thing? Like, oh, yeah, we smashed the watermelon when we went to Minnesota. And Mari did it, and they're like, well, what does that even mean? Like, I mean, the shit like that's not really a way to motivate men, especially professional athletes, And I've had multiple on this show, and I obviously haven't counted many, so I know that for a fact. And obviously I played, not in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm saying, I mean, even in our deal, like if somebody smashed a watermelon, I'm not gonna be, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, get your ass out of here.
We're semi-pro, same shit, brother. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I mean, stuff like that is like. I mean, I and it's funny because now I'm thinking about the Packers, and we're about to get into that. I'm looking at kind of how Green Bay has done since McCarthy's left.
Yeah.
Right? 13-3 back-to-back seasons.
Absolutely.
Back-to-back seasons. NFC Championship last year. Very, very likely they can either make it back that far or even further. But they're the 1 seed. They're the 1 seed now as opposed to being the 2 seed because there's not another team like outside of the Niners who who are there to contend with them in the NFC. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think like even with I'm not gonna lie, I was wrong about the Packers because I know they were always and there are always those teams, that team where it's like they're cool, watching put up points, but when it came to, like last year against the Niners, like that was embarrassing to watch. It was like not physical at all. It looked like Aaron Rodgers gave up, or people couldn't get open. You really couldn't put on like a thing, like put your finger on what was actually going on. It was like, God damn, it's just they're not a good team.
Right.
Hold on. Oh yeah, so they just weren't a good team this year. Now I mean after they got their ass whooped by Tampa, and I think they got their ass whooped by somebody else. No, but I know the Tampa one is the one that stuck with me when I'm like, see, they're doing the same shit, and then they started becoming more physical, and actually running the ball more and being more balanced, and Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers, on top of that defense actually stopping people and not getting ran on. So it's like, I think this is going to be one of the more dangerous teams going to the playoffs. So.
And I think to your point, if you look at it, it's also Davante Adams just emerging as being he's always been consistently great.
Yeah.
But now he's in a discussion for being the number 1 best receiver in the league, the entire league, and it's almost not debatable because outside of Tyreek Hill and DeAndre Hopkins, who else are you really going to put in that category? And obviously, us South Bay JUCO ballers, San Jose City College, and I was there freshman year. My coach, Coach Dub, who I keep citing on this show, worked with both Davante Adams and Tyreek Hill. My first day, 2008, San Jose City College spring ball. Who was there? James Jones. The QB, the wide receiver guru himself, has worked with both these guys. And Davante Adams, I mean, you see it now. I mean, like the blossoming emergence of him this year has just been incredible. It's been incredible.
And I honestly, I think we saw shades of it last year too.
I agree.
I mean, like you said, like Davante Adams has always been underrated asset to the to Packers, and then he's been rated appropriately by the Packers, but to the rest of the league where it's like, oh, he's a product of Aaron Rodgers, when that's not the case.
Right.
I think they make each other better. They have good synergy together, and I mean that only enhances everybody else's play, right?
Yeah.
17 touchdowns. I wouldn't call that a product of anyone. I think that's mainly you, and he's out there running the routes, beautiful routes, and I mean, congrats. He's just, So I'd have to say DeAndre Hopkins, Davante Adams, Tyreek Hill on that, in that little hierarchy at this point in time. So.
I agree. And, I think that's a pretty good ranking. And I also think, kind of to your point about last year, I remember I was at Levi's this time last year, January 19th of last year, 2020. I'll never forget, or 21st, I think it's 19th, right? I remember this. I remember the one play I remember from Green Bay was just Aaron Rodgers drops back. It's a cover 2. DeAndre Hopkins has Sherman ISO 1-on-1. He takes a single high coverage, and then Rodgers just throws, and then DeAndre Hopkins. Oh, it's not DeAndre Hopkins. I was at
Davante Adams.
Davante Adams. Like I said, DeAndre Hopkins. Correct me, brother. God, Davante Adams. It was just like he beat Sherman by 2 steps or 3, and he just hauls it in. And then what happens in the Super Bowl 2 weeks later? Sammy Watkins has that same exact throw, that same exact look and coverage, and he burns him on a 38-yard completion. And he basically said that he learned that from Davante Adams in the NFC Championship game. And Coach Dub has worked with both of them. So kind of the point is that, to your point, it's if you can run your routes effectively enough, it doesn't matter how fast you are. It doesn't matter how, if you can run your routes and you can catch, I mean, if the best route runners usually make the greatest receivers, and Randy Moss was actually a very underrated route runner. And D'Angelo Hall talked about that when he was talking about the greatest, why he chose Randy over Jerry, because he said the reason why Moss got open, it wasn't just that he burned people off the line. He burned you, but he would first mess you. He'd break your ankles and then he burn you. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much how that shit works. So I think So
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. And Randy Moss, as great as he was or is, people always say, "Oh, well, he was only good at the deep routes." No, I was like, you don't make the Hall of Fame for just running deep routes. So,
nope,
yeah. So I agree with you on that.
100%. Let's go down the list of these other scores. Browns over Steelers breaking the playoff drought. Nick Chubb, man. Guess what? We have a rematch of that to close
Yep,
out this week's
exactly.
wild card. And this time, Big Ben and those starters are going to be playing. So kind of talk to me about your impressions of yesterday's win and what do you expect to see on Sunday?
If this was Cleveland 2-3 weeks ago, well, before pre-losing to the Jets, I think Cleveland wins.
Mm-hmm.
But after what I saw yesterday against backups, and I don't give a shit that it's divisional games at this point. You're playing against Mason Rudolph, who hasn't played much this year, and you're playing against other second stringers that haven't been in a full-on starting role, and they came within 2 points.
Right.
So that is concerning for to me personally if I'm gonna put money down, but I would not put money down on the Browns at this point. Can they beat the Steelers? Absolutely they can. Because of their running game, and Baker Mayfield making the passes that he should be making, but I think it's just inconsistency from him throwing the ball time to time because it seems like whenever he's ready to make the leap, and then it'll be like a 35-10 type of game, and we're like, God damn, man, you got exposed again.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say, the Steelers experience is just gonna be too much. I'm gonna go 30-20.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, honestly, but
yeah,
that's just from what I saw. I don't see a lot of hope.
No, I totally agree with that because obviously,
and their defense is trash too. Well, their back end is trash. Myles Garrett in that front, they're not trash, but
yeah, the secondary as opposed to the kind of front four, it's two different it's like Jekyll and Hyde. You know what I mean? Because Juju Smith had so many, and Deontay, and Deontay, I forgot his last name on the Steelers. Yeah, he just burned those boys, So, I mean, yeah, I totally agree. Actually, what was his name? Deontay Johnson. Johnson. Yeah, Deontay Johnson and Juju and Claypool too. Claypool had some.
I'll say Claypool had some plays yesterday.
Yeah, Claypool has pretty good plays. So yeah. I'll probably go 31-20. Give them a 1 point lead over, or maybe 31-21 or 30-21. Something like you. It's gonna be more than it's gonna be a 2-score game. It's gonna be a 2-score game. So. All right, so that's the Steelers Browns rematch. That's going to close out this week's wildcard round. And let's talk about the Colts. Colts are going to play the Bills to open up the wildcard round on Saturday. The Colts beat the Jaguars yesterday 20-14. The Bills beat the Dolphins 56-26. Josh Allen, to me, being a Cali product, being a JUCO product. Nate Tia, shout out Nate Tia if you listen to this. You went to Fireball High School as Josh Allen. He was the GOAT of Fireball before Josh Allen became there and became the Fireball GOAT. Josh Allen to me was always, in my opinion, the best QB of the 2018 draft. I was so sold on him because, when you're a Cali JUCO product, you bet against yourself, and when you're able to get to the highest level, more times than not, you'll make the most of your opportunity. Because why?
Yeah.
You didn't go to a flashy school to get in there. You may have been highly recruited, and for whatever reason, look at Aaron Rodgers, look at Josh Allen. That's all the proof I need.
Yeah,
I think Josh Allen is going to be the QB of the future for the next 10 years. Breaking Jim Kelly's franchise
in the NFL or for the Bills?
And the NFL outside of Patrick Mahomes is going to be Josh Allen.
Yeah. Okay, no, he went over there. He went under one of the more drastic improvements I've ever seen. Because I know that year one, I was like, I don't know about this kid. I don't know. I see the potential, but I don't know.
Right.
And then year two was like, oh, he's good. He's good. I mean, this man's throwing deep balls to Cole Beasley, who doesn't even run deep. They're like, and what were they saying last year? Like they attempted the least deep throws in the whole league because of their personnel, and they were still winning games.
Yeah.
And yeah, those times he unraveled, but I mean, you're a second-year quarterback, so it's like I'm not going to hold that against you.
Right.
And then this year,
with Stefon Diggs,
one person,
one guy,
Stefon Diggs changed life.
Life.
Changed life in Buffalo. Josh Allen with that, that stellar coaching staff, and then you see this man put up some prolific ass numbers, and you're like, huh? So this is Josh Allen, because like you said, even in college, I think I didn't get the whole hype. When I saw him at Colorado, I was like, I get it. Big arm, reminds me of Josh Freeman, kind of like he can move around, but like I just don't see what everyone else is. Then the Senior Bowl happened.
Yeah.
And he started balling with people who are actually good.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this kid's good. Because I think that's another thing people have to like look out for too. Like if you're, in a small school as a quarterback, and you have to be the offense pretty much the whole time.
Right.
And when you actually play against players that are your same caliber, and if you excel, I think you'll be all right. If you struggle a bit, then it's like, you're kind of like, shit, like, are you this guy or not? So, but not like, Josh Allen, man, he's been balling. So I think they are the hottest team in the league.
They are.
Yeah, yep. Absolutely. And, and I think if there's anybody to knock off the Chiefs, it's the Bills.
It is the Bills.
Don't know if they will, but if there was like a vote, I'd vote the Bills to do that. So yeah. And who they play against again?
They yesterday they played the Dolphins, and then Saturday they're gonna play the Colts.
So, Colts are done.
Yeah, you didn't let me preview the Colts and kind of who they beat. And all right, yeah, they're done.
Done.
Yeah, I mean, the Colts, great story of the year for Philip Rivers. Obviously, comeback player of the year is going to go to Alex Smith, but Philip Rivers should be in that discussion too. Obviously, it's been a comeback year because the Colts now are a playoff team. They're 1 win away from winning the South, right?
Yeah, they were.
They were. So at the end of the day, I think the Colts, great season, great story for Philip Rivers. Probably gonna be his last season, most likely not. So we'll see if he gets in the Hall of Fame. I believe he should be in there. A lot of people feel he shouldn't.
Hall of Fame shouldn't be about just rings and stuff, but it shouldn't be about just blatant numbers where it's like you just throw them up all the time. But we all know that Philip Rivers is that guy.
Yeah, 100%. Like I just think that.
Yeah, he is that. He was that guy. But I'm just saying, like, when I say they're done, it's not even about, there's no shade to the Colts. I just think the Bills are that team.
Yeah.
And the Colts, despite their great defense, and they can run the ball. They've shown us, yes, especially yesterday, Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor actually had 250 yards with what was it? With 4 less carries than Derek Derek, so 8.4 yards per carry.
Yeah, I would say that man has track speed.
Track speed.
It's crazy watching him run. So you're like, when you put those elements in there, yeah, you probably think like, okay, Bills need to worry, but I do not think that the Bills have to worry about the Colts. I think the Bills are going to handle business just on how they ran. So I
agree. And to your point, they won 6 to 7, I think 6 straight. Yeah, it's just Stefon Diggs Stefon Diggs leads the league in receptions and receiving yards. 2 statistical categories for receiver. The only category he didn't conquer was the Triple Crown, which is the touchdowns.
Yeah,
he basically got 2. You know what I mean?
Right. And you do that as a receiver. That's still like, damn, you were balling this year. So
balling, man. That's just fucking insane because it's like, like 1 year without Kirk Cousins. We saw moments of Stefon Diggs, like obviously in Minnesota with the miracle in Minnesota against the Saints. Other moments too. But he's had a different quarterback almost every year. He's had Case Keenum, he's had Kirk Cousins,
Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater. He's just gone through QB. We need to put some respect on Stephon Diggs' name, man. I mean,
oh yeah,
I mean,
sure.
this cat is a fucking baller.
I'm all thinking about the receiver hierarchy right now. I'm like, shit.
Like, forgot about Stephon Diggs, bro. We forgot about him.
Say, wait, who we had over there? So it was DeAndre, Tyreek Hill,
and Devontae.
No, it's right for now.
Yeah, it's right. It's hard. It's hard because
it's hard
because
it's okay.
Yeah, because they have a full body of work, sustained body of work for the past couple of years, and Stephon Diggs just had a breakout year now, so we have to see more of this, and you'll probably be there. Yeah.
And no disrespect to his other seasons, because he was balling. He was just the second guy. So that's just really what it is.
Okay. And to your point, let's go through this. And so now the Colts. So we already have a prediction. Yeah, Colts. If I'm going to put a score on, I'll probably put 36 to 16, 36 to 10, maybe. I mean, it could be a close game, 36-26 or something like that. But yeah.
I mean, I said it was over, but I didn't think it'd be like that. But I'm gonna give Colts a fighting chance, and their defense is not. They're not gonna let out 35 points. I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 27-20.
27-20 is good because I forgot about Darius Leonard. He's still there.
Yeah, I was Darius Leonard. He'll be like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, but remember, they did allow 31 points against Green Bay this year. Yeah, and in my opinion, I mean, no disrespect. I mean, Green Bay, and yeah, we haven't talked about the MVP discussion. We'll get there, but I mean, I think that when you look at it, it's like Josh Allen right now is just too fucking hot. That offense is too hot. Like, I just don't know how to say. I don't know any other way to say it. Like, they can beat you in so many other ways. They spread you out, and then the ball goes in so many different directions, and he has the strongest arm of any quarterback in the NFL, not named Patrick Mahomes, right? So I mean, it's just, you know what I mean? So.
Hey, I'm saying they never had the throw off, but I mean, hey, a strong arm's a strong arm. So I think those two are basically 1A, 1B. Just depends on the day.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. So, all right, now let's talk about after that game, which is gonna be the first game to open up this weekend. We're gonna have the Rams and the Seahawks Saturday at 1:40 p.m. PST. The Rams played who did they play yesterday? I was watching that game. Oh, Cardinals. Come on. Cardinals. How did I not know that? I'm an NFC West guy. The Rams played the Cardinals, and I was watching the game intently because obviously when I played in Chicago, my last year I played competitively, like full time, was the Chicago Falcons.
Right.
A lot of my friends are Bears fans, so they were all looking at the Cardinals game to see, how that'd go.
Right.
The Bears sorry ass got in the playoffs. Any of my Bears fans listen to this, fuck y'all. Y'all don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Y'all are the sorriest team to ever make the playoffs in my lifetime, and y'all gonna get blown the fuck out of the water. Who are the Bears even playing? Actually, let me get there. Bears are playing the Saints. Yeah, no, they're gonna get blown the fuck out of the water. They're gonna get blown the fuck out of the water. I don't care.
So. I mean, the Bears defense is good, but I'm like, nah, their offense isn't nearly what they think it is. Like,
you saw
Trubisky is basically Blake Bortles that can run a little bit more. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just it's really hard to really like say definitively like player sucks, but Trubisky is pretty trash. So
he's trash. Nagy's trash. The whole. I mean, they could have think about this. They could have had Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. They traded up to get Trubisky over both those quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say. It's just this says it all. So, So I mean, at least we don't have to do that game because it's just let's just be real. It's bad.
Yeah. But so bad.
Congratulations to them handling the early losing streak and getting in that position. But I mean, and people are mad about the NFC East. Of the Washington football team, but the Bears are. I mean, I don't see any redeemable qualities except Khalil Mack in that pass rush. If that's even still a thing with them. So I know their corners are all right, but
Kyle Fuller and those guys. I mean, those boys. When I was there in 2018, I got to watch them play when they made the playoffs that year, when they deserved to make the playoffs, when they went 12-4.
Yeah.
Opened the season against Seattle. They were just getting after Wilson. Wilson was sacked on his ass. I can't even remember how many times. They win that game, and then they play the Patriots, and the Patriots win the Super Bowl that year. The final score of that game against Patriots, I believe, was 37-31. So
Wow.
it was
I think I remember
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so I was watching that game, and I was like, it was phenomenal. But now, I mean, you've seen them after 1 year of film on Trubisky and Nagy from that one season making the playoffs. Defenses catch up in the NFL. I mean, there's no way to, with Kaepernick too. I love Kaepernick, but defenses caught up with him after defenses figured out the read option. They're like, okay, yeah, now we know exactly how to take Kaepernick out of the game. The reason why the Ravens are so much better is because Lamar Jackson can actually play from the pocket. Kaepernick, had never really developed that.
He was a free guy, and that's I mean that's nothing against anybody. It's just it's facts.
It's facts.
I mean, like Lamar Jackson, like when we had this debate last year, it was like, oh no, Greg Roman, Lamar. I don't know, man. I don't think they'll ever do it. But it's like, Lamar Jackson was only 23 back then, or 22.
Correct.
I think it was 22.
22, youngest MVP ever.
And now he's 23. And then, defense caught up to him in the beginning of the year. But did you notice when they were 6-5 until now, how much better he got? And then he's willing to hang in there. Boom, boom, let that go. Like I mean, we see like little streaks of it in the beginning of this year, but the last 5 weeks, you're just like, oh shit, like something must have clicked. But that's always a great sign if you're the front office, like, okay, this kid could play from the pocket when we need him to.
Facts.
So we'll see still what goes on in the playoffs, but I still think the jury's out. So.
Yeah, jury's still out, because he's still 0-2 in his playoff games, so we have to see. But I do believe that's gonna snap. He's gonna snap that streak this week, based on what we discussed earlier in the segment.
Absolutely.
Or the episode, yeah. But now let's talk about let's get back on track to the Cardinals-Rams game. One thing I was watching, the Kyler Murray goes out, so it's the backup versus the backup. Is John Wolford the guy who no one knows who the fuck he is, which is phenomenal because I got to share that meme on my Facebook yesterday on my IG story. The guy, The Bachelor, team of The Bachelor. I mean, who the fuck cares about The Bachelor? No one watches The Bachelor. And then you had the backup quarterback for the Cardinals who had like the tats, and I don't know who he was either. But I mean, the biggest matchup I was watching that game was Jalen Ramsey versus DeAndre Hopkins, and Jalen Ramsey was making it difficult for D-Hop all game. It was a phenomenal matchup, bro. I mean, I was just like watching that. Like, if you're a fan of the game, you want to see those elite matchups of elite corners who can play man, zone, elite receivers who can go single coverage, double, kind of, go against man, go against zone, you know what I mean? Inside release, outside release, beat all types of coverages and presses, right? So, I mean, I'm watching that game, and the only thing that comes to mind is that I'm looking at this Rams defense, and I'm just looking at Aaron Donald. I'm looking at the backers, and I'm looking at Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd, they got after that QB.
Unsung hero, Leonard Floyd.
Yeah, Leonard Floyd from that Bears team that made the playoffs 2018. Leonard Floyd.
Yeah.
Yep. I've seen him play. I know how he plays, right? Back to the point. Like, you're watching this unfold, and you're just like, oh my god, this defense is nasty.
It's a Super Bowl defense.
It's a Super Bowl caliber defense, right? I don't know if Jared Goff is going to be healthy enough for the Seahawks game. If he's not, if that thumb's fucked, what I mean, then yeah. But great story of the Rams to make the playoffs this year against the Cardinals.
Especially when they needed to, because I think Sean McVay needed it.
He did.
People will say, "Oh, well, they went 9-7 last year," but the whole thing was he was supposed to be the new wave, the new whiz kid of the NFL that could take it over, for years to come, shit like that.
Right.
And that's and sometimes the media gets ahead of itself, by doing shit like that to these young people, and then the moment they slip up, then it's like, oh, maybe he's not as good as we thought. Sean McVay is great at what he does, and that's designing plays, to suit his quarterback, his personnel, and making everybody successful, regardless of your physical attributes. Like, he can mask deficiencies, and I think that's a underrated skill, and that's something that Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels have done for years.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we'll see what they do in the playoffs. I think the defense is going to give Russell Wilson and the Seahawks a great run for their money.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be one of those games. It's probably going to be ending up one of the best games of the weekend.
I think so. I think so too, because it's a divisional game, and it's my division for my team. Yeah. And I mean, to your point, and if you watched Russell Wilson yesterday, Niners were up like 16-6, and then 16-12, and then it was 23-6, and then somehow Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, credit to Russell Wilson and Lofa and any other former Seahawks I shout out on IG yesterday. Credit to Russell Wilson for hanging in there and just being Russell Wilson and being the magic man, cooking, letting Russ cook, right?
Yeah.
Like being able to will his team to win the game against the Niners. But you're facing a much better defensive front this weekend. You're facing a much better,
and on top of that, a crazy good secondary.
Oh my God, Jalen Ramsey in that secondary, and Hill. Don't forget Hill. The pick six. Troy Hill, man, like he had the pick six, and that was phenomenal. So, and I think the Rams have already beaten the Seahawks this year, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, one stat which is crazy. You mentioned Sean McVay. He's 8-0 against Arizona on his career as head coach. 8-0.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's never lost to the Cardinals.
Well, good. But yeah, man. Yeah, I'd say I think that's gonna be the hidden nugget where it's like, oh, Rams, Seahawks. I don't know. Seahawks win, but then when you watch it, it's like, oh snap, are they gonna lose? I think it's gonna have that type of thing where it's like it's gonna go down to the wire to where Russell Wilson does his thing or Aaron Donald comes up huge, or one of those pass rushers.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm not calling that game. You can call if you want. If you want. Okay, Seattle.
Seattle,
all right.
24, Rams, 23.
Yeah, that 1 point game.
Yeah. So
actually, you know what? Actually, no. I'm gonna call it with you convinced me because it is a home game. Seattle is gonna be at home. I mean, I don't think Russell Wilson's ever lost in the first round, has he?
Has he?
No.
Not sure. No,
he's never lost in the first round. He's never lost in the first round.
Okay, yeah.
He's the LeBron James of NFL.
Take it out. He has lost in the first round by us.
Russell Cowboys. Wilson. Oh yeah. How can I forget that?
Yep.
My bad.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, no, I mean that was recent too. That was 2 years ago. That's like too many hits to the head, bro. I'm all right.
I know. I had to think. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I know for damn sure we didn't make it to no conference championship. So
yeah. That wraps up the wild card weekend and kind of the recap of the weekend. I mean, 49ers offseason outlook. Already talked about this. Jimmy needs to go. We talked about this last time. Jimmy has to go. Kyle Shanahan kind of gave like a soft kind of endorsement where he's not really endorsing him, but he's like, oh yeah, but pretty much Lorenzo Alexander. Low. If anyone knows anything about running back or fullback, Lorenzo Alexander. He was talking about yesterday. He's like, Kyle Shanahan's words were a soft endorsement, but he wasn't saying that I'm not going to upgrade. He's basically saying that Jimmy will get an opportunity to compete next year at camp, but during OTAs, but I'm still going to probably upgrade and bring someone in to compete. So,
well, shit, I mean, they were inquiring about a 42-year-old quarterback. That should tell you everything you need to know there.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be real about it. So
Tom Brady wanted to go there, but then eventually they said no, he doesn't fit the scheme. But Matt Stafford is a potential free agent target for the offseason. So I'm looking forward to that.
We'll see. I'm excited to see what the Niners actually do at quarterback.
Me too. And obviously we'll probably address our secondary needs, everything else in the draft. So pretty much that's that. Now let's talk about the MVP discussion. All right. I need to hear from you. All right. So I remember we talked about this, but Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers are the most like candidates to win MVP. We want Derrick Henry to win. He's not going to win. Between Mahomes and Rodgers, who's your pick and why?
I'm going Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, now I got to sit up. Going Patrick Mahomes. I got to say, only because, I mean, don't get me wrong. Aaron Rodgers he had a historic year, this year. I just think certain losses burn in your mind too much, at least for me. Especially when I saw them lose against Tampa like that. There was another loss where they got blown out, and I'm just like, bro, what was it? The Chargers? No, it wasn't the Chargers. I'm trying to think of. There was another game that Aaron played where I was like, come on, he's good for like one or two of those stinkers. Yes, we know about Patrick Mahomes' weapons and all that. We know that December wasn't the best month for him, but hell, he found ways to win. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's just Packers might be Aaron Rodgers might be the popular vote. Just for it's like, okay, they're streaking at the right time. They're doing the damn thing. Like, it's hard not to give it to him. And he may as well win it. It's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
Yeah, but still, Patrick Mahomes, he got my vote. Every time when it looks like they're about to lose or he has a bad or shitty game, they're never out of it. And I feel like when it comes to the Green Bay Packers, when they're down, even by 2 scores, you feel like they're done.
Yeah.
There's no, not no chance, but it was just, I've seen it enough this year where I'm like, oh, okay, well, when they're down, they're just down, and Aaron Rodgers is like, all right, fuck it, we'll go on to next week. And then Patrick Mahomes is like, shit, I got 2-3 interceptions in this half. We about to have 3 touchdowns this next half. So it's like, I don't know, just differences. So
differences and kind of to your point, body language, differences in kind of leadership. Patrick Mahomes is a much more vocal leader than Aaron is. Aaron's more quiet, lead by example type of leader.
Yeah.
But let me just read you some numbers. Okay, we're gonna start with Patrick Mahomes. So Patrick Mahomes' numbers on the year. Yeah, he's in 15 games. He's completed 390 passes out of 588 attempts for 66.3% completion percent, which is a career high for him.
Right.
4740 passing yards, 38 touchdowns, 6 picks. He's also had average high rushing, which is 62 attempts, 308 yards, and 2 TDs. So that's good for him. Now let's go to Aaron Rodgers.
40 total touchdowns. Good.
40 total touchdowns. Yep. So let's go to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. All right. So Aaron Rodgers has played in 16 games, 372 completions out of 526 attempts for 70.7% completion, which leads the league. All right.
Yeah.
42.99 passing yards, 8.2 average yards per attempt, or I guess completion. Oh, but per attempt. 48 touchdowns, which leads the league to 5 picks. 121.5 pass rating, which also leads the league. 9.1% TD percentage. 1.0 interception percentage, which also leads the league. And rushing, not so impressive, but he's actually rushed for 3 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, I'm saying, I'm not gonna knock anybody for the rushing, especially if you're old or, a quarterback.
So that's
it's different stuff, but
that's 51 total TDs from A-Rod, man. Like that's just insane. And you think about the teams: Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, you see the weapons KC has and Sammy Watkins, right? Green Bay doesn't have those weapons. I'm giving it to Aaron just because, they say it's not the do more with less award. In this situation, it is. Because these guys are neck and neck. Casey's 14.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, no, that's fair. I mean, because Aaron Jones, as great as he is, I mean, I think he's better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I agree with that. No, he is. He is.
But outside of Devontae Adams, it's not like, Aaron Rodgers just throwing it over to like a hulking tight end that can run, a 4-5 or something like that.
Right.
So I get it. Like, me making the sensible choice would be Aaron Rodgers, but I'm just being honest with what I'm seeing. I'm like, hey, Patrick Mahomes, man, there's a reason. we'll just put it like that. There's a reason why this man won a Super Bowl already.
Yeah. So. No, it's magic. It's magic. It's magic to see what Patrick Mahomes has done, what the Chiefs have done. I personally think Patrick Mahomes is probably going to, if not for the Bills, I think if the Packers play the Chiefs, I mean, I somehow, if the Packers get past all the teams in the NFC, make it to the championship, and the Chiefs almost without question that they're probably going to make it. I mean, the Chiefs are going to win. Patrick Mahomes is this era's Joe Montana. I mean, I have not seen a quarterback with this much poise, this much talent, and just this much all around, just great.
He has
Like
literally everything you want.
yeah,
Everything you want. Somebody who could move, somebody who could throw, who's accurate, somebody
yeah.
who's a great leader, someone who's mature. So it's like he checks all the boxes, literally. So yeah, I get it. I get it.
And to your point, because to your point, what you said about kind of when teams are down, you see the difference between Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes when both teams are down. Patrick Mahomes, to your point, I heard it on ESPN the other day. It's like it doesn't matter what the other 21 guys do. That one guy will will you over the top.
Yeah,
You know,
I feel that's an MVP to me. So
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
shoot. I mean, if he doesn't get the MVP, I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll see him with a back-to-back Super Bowl MVP award,
Yeah.
which is more important. You know, kind of like LeBron James. He didn't get the MVP, but hey, man, he got the Finals MVP, which is what
Right.
counts. So
Right. Exactly. You know, and then I mean, I know no one would rather lose in a first round versus a championship, but that's just that's a talk for another time.
no, exactly. No, if you're a winner, you want to make the run.
Yeah,
I don't care.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Perfection is because you're there, you win, right? You want to get there. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That's
so,
if we win, fucking great.
fucking
But
great.
I mean, even if we lost, it's gonna sting a lot. But at least it's like, we're so close.
So
But
close.
I'd rather do that than losing the first stinky round and shit, and be like, oh, you can't go anywhere, So
Hey man, you can't get these unless you get out of that first round. So remember that.
exactly.
Oh man. So yeah, Niners obviously Raiders beat the Broncos 32-31. Not much to say about that.
Yeah.
I do think Gruden we should reevaluate Gruden. I'm gonna have Lincoln Kennedy on Wednesday. I'll probably ask some questions about kind of what he thinks about the Raiders, and
Yeah. All right.
I mean they're kind of disappointing. I mean the Jets, some coaching news. Obviously Jets, Adam Gase is out as head coach. Now you could see that from a mile away, right?
Yeah.
Doug Marrone's out from the Jaguars, and so the room. Yeah, it's fine.
I honestly think he ruined a lot of he ruined a lot of the infrastructure in there.
Right.
And they always say, "Oh no, it was Jalen Ramsey or Leonard Fournette." And it's like, no, it's that motherfucker. Because I mean, how do you have that much talent on your team and they all want to leave?
Right.
I think that says more about you than them. And then when they go to new spots, we don't hear a peep.
Right.
And I'm, like Jalen Ramsey is a talker. We all know that.
Right.
But we haven't heard any crazy shit, coming out of LA about him. He just wanted to get paid. That's it. Dante Fowler, when he was on the Rams, he was a good citizen. I think he's on the Falcons now, but he's irrelevant now at this point.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, I think that just tells a lot about a coach. If people who leave you at an alarming rate or wants to leave at an alarming rate and they play better wherever they go, like, I think that just tells a lot about you as a coach. So.
And I agree with that, because if you look at it from the vantage point of kind of, just understanding what it means to leave, we talk about Mike McCarthy. Guys don't guys don't take him seriously in the locker room. He doesn't have a voice in the locker room.
No.
Doug Marrone, guys don't take Doug Marrone seriously for the same reason. I mean, what do you have to make guys buy into what you're trying to preach? Do you have these? Do you have this? Do you lead by example?
Yeah.
And with coaching, it's a very, very kind of fine line you have to walk, when you're trying to inspire and lead men, especially professional athletes. So I personally think that I agree, for a variety of reasons. Doug Marrone was not good. All the issues that we saw, the toxicity in the locker room, the reason Jalen Ramsey got shipped off after making the AFC Championship game, like you ship off Jalen.
Right, never sniffed the playoffs, not even close.
Calais Campbell, right, going to the Ravens. I mean, these are things that you want to always maintain your best player. You don't side with the best coach. You make the coach work with the best player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty that tells it all. So, and kind of now with the next thing that we're going to talk about with that is that Urban Meyer is now a potential coaching candidate for the Jaguars. It's rumored right now.
Yeah.
And obviously with that, Trevor Lawrence will probably be the first draft pick. So we might usher in a brand new era in Jacksonville with Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence.
That'd be kind of
Yeah, because I
That'd
mean,
be pretty tough.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, that's basically it. I know I wanted him out here in Dallas. I mean, not here, but like I wanted him out in Dallas.
Yeah.
But just you know how it goes. I mean, Jerry Jones would just have way too much power over that guy.
Too much, man.
You know, and it would have been like it would have been great, but it would have been bad. You know,
Right.
meaning like great that we have Urban Meyer, but Jerry Jones would be like, nah, I still want attention, so we're going ahead and let me go ahead and take this attention from you. So
Exactly. And I mean, like Urban Meyer is the type of coach who needs to have end-to-end control.
yeah,
Shad Khan, who's also Pakistani like me, who's the owner of the Jaguars, is a very hands-off owner.
yeah,
That's what you need. You need your owner to be hands-off. Trust your general manager and your head coach to do their jobs and
yeah.
lead the men. So, I mean,
Period.
period. I mean, like, because you can't have multiple voices in guys' ears. You know, your
No.
head coach says this, your GM saying that, your coach is saying this. You as a player are like, what the fuck's going on here? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
so, yeah. I mean, it's okay to be a player-friendly owner, but you can't, like, you can't, yeah. No,
Yeah. That's it. Don't muddy up the waters.
ever. Just don't. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Jacksonville does in the offseason. The Jets, we'll see. Woody Johnson's he's out in Europe. He'll be back on the 22nd, I think. And they said maybe he'll have some say in the new head coach. The Jets are the Jets. Trevor Lawrence is
Yeah.
out. There's nothing to really look forward to over there. So
Right. Yeah. I would say they're just a hapless team. I really hope the good head coaching candidates don't go over there because New York it could go really wrong or really good.
yeah,
And I don't see it going really good anytime soon. So
right.
let's not do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with that point, I mean, what was I going to say to that? Frank Gore should just retire because I mean, he's the reason they won those last two games of the season. Before yesterday. So he needs to just hang it up because we'll see how trash they are without Frank just kind of running the rock up the middle.
Right. I'll say it was unimaginative to watch when I did see it. Sucked to see Sam Darnold like looking as bad as he did, even though like I don't think he was a bad quarterback at all. It's just, I mean, the structure around him, like there's literally nothing there. So
Yeah. No, I mean, and here's another issue with that's a good point you brought up. They're talking about moving on from Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold was never the issue. I mean, it's like I'm sure if they do move on from him, if he goes somewhere else, he'll be very
he's gonna
successful.
ball.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
ball.
say hey, send him to Pittsburgh, have him sit a year. There's, I mean, even San Francisco, have him sit a year over there. Like, I mean, Sam Darnold, he's not, because people who watch football in a vacuum, casual fans are going to say he's trash, blah, blah.
Right.
But it's like, I think anybody would be trash if they're in an unstable situation. And and clearly, they were talking about last year when Sam Darnold finally talked to the Gase, talking about, oh yeah, I don't want to run these plays anymore. I want to run plays like this because they play to my strengths. And then they started going on a cool little streak. I don't know if you remember that. But
I do remember that.
Right. So they were 7-6 with him as the starter in 2019. And then I don't know what happened this year, but nothing good.
Exactly.
Nothing good happened. So
yeah, I mean, the team itself has a lot of issues that they have to address, but yeah, I think Sam Darnold needs to leave. And as a your point, I think that organization is so dysfunctional that they'll be better off without him. So
yeah,
I think that's a pretty we're pretty much in alignment there. I think it's pretty obvious.
yeah.
Chargers, I'm looking for how they do next year.
Same here.
Yeah.
Here. Anthony Lynn, as much as I liked him as a person, I think he needs to be gone. Just not even because he's he's not a trash coach at all. It's just sometimes you just need a new voice, and if you're letting all multiple leads, multiple double-digit leads go by, something's wrong.
Right.
So it's, I mean, I just think it's time. And then you can't, that was a waste of a rookie season for Herbert, where it's like I threw for 31 touchdowns and we weren't even close. We weren't even close to making the postseason. So that's a crime. So
God, let me read the numbers. 4,336 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 picks, and 66.6% completion. Those are Pro Bowl numbers. That's a Pro Bowl QB.
Like if some veteran threw that, you're like, oh shit, they balled this year.
He threw more yards than Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah. So
You know, I mean, and in less games, 15 games instead of 16. So yeah, Herbert's gonna be Herbert actually. Yeah. So Allen, Herbert, Mahomes, those are my 3 picks for kind of who's gonna be the future of the NFL. Lamar Jackson has to be in there too, just because
yeah, I mean, I put Lamar and not Kyler Murray, but I still think Deshaun Watson's that guy.
I agree.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, and it's funny. I watched. You good?
We just need him to have a coach.
Yeah, no,
a coach and a GM, and then I can say that confidently. But as of right now, I mean, you're right with your list. So
yeah,
you got you have Herbert, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, and I mean, Kyler Murray's more of a it's kind of like Russell Wilson, where it's like that's not the norm, but people who can move around, and you're going to value people who move around and could throw. So it's like but not somebody who's 5'11" all the time.
Yeah,
you're right.
It was funny. My last guy's Reggie Gray. We're talking about it because, me and him, you two, we're all kind of under 5'10" and under, and pretty much it was like we came up in the wrong era because nowadays they look for guys like us, little guys, and like I played AFL, he did, you played semi-pro, you went to D2. I mean, it's just like, it's just like they look for little guys to fit these schemes to play QB if you're fast enough. But it's like back then it was all your numbers and your size. That was it. You know what I mean?
That's it.
That was it. So, it's an interesting point, and I totally agree. Like it's like, yeah, it's cool to see how the game has changed. But
yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's see what else we got. Anything else? NBA. Did you see about the Paul George Devin Booker confrontation?
I heard about it. Yeah, I think I saw a little clip. Yeah, apparently Booker called him a punk ass. You know what, right?
Punk ass what? You can say it.
Nah, I don't use it. So
exactly, yeah.
But and then Paul George. I mean, shit. That's like calling. We'll just say that's like calling the kettle black, right? So, yeah. I mean, shit. You saw Devin Booker thought he saw a spade, so he called a spade a spade. So
he did. Yeah.
I mean that. But yeah, NBA man. I watched the opening week and then week 2, but I did hear about that this weekend. I did see clips about Kyrie and KD missing game-winning shots, and LeBron celebrating his birthday by beating the shit out of the Spurs twice.
Yeah.
So,
that's exactly it. Like LeBron James, he put that stats that I think comparable win percentage since LeBron's broken to the NBA. Just has made one less championship than the Spurs since he's come to the NBA or the Spurs, and just it's insane. And I think LeBron James, 36, hasn't slowed down. We've never seen a man at 36 be this dominant at this point in his career. We've never seen it.
And it's like, people will say, well, Tom Brady football, but Tom Brady's not running around and shit. He's throwing
dude. Tom Brady's literally just doing this.
Yeah.
And then bang, 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 bang. And that's it.
Which is still great. But I'm just saying, when we talk about when I talk about the greatest athletes
say
ever,
it. Thank you.
I'm not talking about a quarterback that was stationary most of the time. I'm talking about a fucking athlete, a man going out there and dogging shit.
Oh, you know what I mean? That's what he does.
Exactly. So it's just, hey, I mean, haters are gonna hate, so I mean, LeBron's doing his thing. There shouldn't really be any haters about that, but we live in a tribalistic world where you have to be one or the other. You can't just appreciate greatness when it's here. So
right.
Well, yeah. So American public, get that shit out of your head.
Stop hating on that man. Because we got these.
Right. Hey, if you win rings, then that's it. I mean, that's it. I mean,
what else?
What
else
can you?
And actually, no. Let's have the debate where you were alluding to earlier. Losing in the first round versus making it to the finals or championship series. kind of, talk to me about your mindset because I'm always wanting to make the run. I don't give a fuck if I win or lose.
Yeah.
Because you can get these on the way. So go ahead.
Yeah, man. I gotta say, I'd rather. Well, if we had a choice to lose, then yeah, I'd rather lose in the championship,
right,
versus losing the first round,
right?
Because at least like even in semi-pro, I'm all thinking like, so even in semi-pro, we lost in the championship, the first time, and it was like, yeah, I mean, it made you feel like shit. You're motivated the next year, blah blah. We come back, run it back, win it all, boom, like we're done. But but if we, can you imagine you have a talented team and you say we can run the table or we can make it far, and you lose to the first round. So if you're that good, that means you lost to the worst team to make it in the playoffs. I think that would make me feel more like shit than anything.
Right.
Because I lost to someone who probably had no business being there in the first place.
Bingo.
And even if it's a 4 versus 5 seed, it's like, yeah, we may be like, mirroring each other, but I want to beat this person because whoever I get to play next, we get to see what we're truly made out of. Right. And then now, like, oh shit, I guess I wasn't shit. I don't know. Like, I'd rather lose in the championship versus first round. Absolutely.
Facts. I totally agree with that. I think because if you look at it, like, if you make it to the final round, like, for example, let's take the Patriots. They went 16-0. What if they lost in the first round as opposed to losing the Super Bowl? Would we still consider them as a great team? We wouldn't.
No,
honestly.
Not at all. It would have been like the greatest choke job in NFL history. Period.
Technically, still consider that, but but it
would have been worse. It would have been way more infamous, and it would have been like, no one's going to talk about the 23 touchdowns. No one's going to talk about the 50 touchdowns.
Correct.
No one's going to talk about the success that they had in the regular season going up into the postseason.
Right.
So at least we said, oh yeah, that was the best Patriots team we've ever seen offensively, and then they met the Giants. You know what I mean? Like you say that they were blowing through everybody. They're doing their thing in the playoffs. They looked unbeatable until they met the Giants.
Right.
So if you would have done that, they're like, oh yeah, they look great. And then they lost to like, I don't know who they faced in the first round that year, but somebody who had no business being there, or somebody who, barely got by the wild card round and they lost. So yeah, people are silly.
If you're a pro athlete, you're you know this collegiate whatever. Yeah. So give me the run, baby, every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me the run. So yes. I'd rather have a chance to win it than no chance at all.
It's all facts. It's all facts, my dude. So anyhow, all right. What else? And I think I'm out of topics. You got anything?
I would say actually no. But let's see. Thinking about other topics right now.
Oh, Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia looked very unimpressive. And if Ryan Garcia has to face Gervonta Davis, I know you don't watch boxing, maybe you do. But if you watch boxing, Ryan Garcia is talking this mad shit about how he's going to knock out Gervonta Davis, this and that, blah, blah. But, he got knocked down. He came back and won the fight, which is very impressive for him to come back and win the fight. But if he got knocked down by whoever the hell that dude was, if he faced Gervonta Tank Davis and he has to take an overhand right or a left, you don't watch the sports, so you don't know this, but let me just tell you, Tank Davis can hit very, very, very hard. So
I'm gonna see some of that stuff on YouTube.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Google it. But it's just, he got exposed, in my opinion. So I think, that's pretty much. Anyone listening, listen to boxing, watch the boxing. You heard it here first. A1 Podcast, your host, your beloved host. Very handsome, very athletic, very attractive, very intuitive, very intellectual, right? I'm saying that Ryan Garcia will get knocked the fuck out there if he has to fight Tank Davis. So, all right, yeah, go ahead, Hashim.
Oh, well, shit, man. I got to actually get back to the grind. But thank you for
close it out. Hell yeah, no, we'll make this a regular thing, bro. Shit, I need someone to co-host me talk about sports because I have to interview so many motherfuckers. I don't get time to actually talk about kind of what's transpiring. So we'll make this happen. Yeah.
All right, we can make this happen.
Shit. All right, baby. All right, thanks, bro. Talk soon.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Out.